2, 1, go.
Hi, and welcome to a very special Halloween episode of The Art of Mortgage Marketing. I'm here with my co-host and partner in crime, Superman, Doran Aldana.
Oh yeah, rocking the superhero outfit, looking redunculous today. I frankly came up with this idea and now I'm regretting it because I think I look like Mr. Clean with a twist of Superman, and it's not looking super. I think yours looks way better than mine. Just saying. Those of you who are watching this in video, you know Penny looks way better than me. So, but what else is new, right? What else is new? So excited to dive into this Halloween episode.
Yes.
This is going to be fun. I have a feeling we're going to be dropping some frighteningly powerful mortgage marketing strategies today. So buckle up, y'all. Buckle up. What are we going to be talking about today? I know it's going to be ghostly and wicked and frightening because it's Halloween, but what are we going to be talking about today, Penny? Let's dive in, shall we?
Beautiful. Absolutely. So our spooky topic today is 3 frighteningly easy ways to bring in borrowers faster than you can say boo.
That's when I'm supposed to press the scary button.
You know, with an empty pipeline, it can be scary. So we're going to show you how to change that today.
Tell us about the scary. We've been there. We've done that. The reason why we're doing this podcast is chances are we failed more than most of you guys. We've had all kinds of dark nights of the soul. It's the front lines of capitalism, y'all. It is not an easy thing to win on the front lines of capitalism. And there are challenges. And certainly on those challenges, there's some freakishly painful experiences we can go through. So tell us, you've been in the game coaching mortgage pros as well as being a mortgage pro, 24 years on the front lines as a mortgage pro. You've had your share of the good, the bad, and the ugly, Penny. What are some of the scary symptoms of borrower scarcity, lead quality scarcity that perhaps our audience can relate to, connect to on this ghoulish and ghostly Halloween episode where we're going to talk about how to eradicate those symptoms once and for all? What are some of those symptoms?
Well, the very first one, Doran, is I will tell you, I love roller coasters, but this roller coaster I don't like. And that roller coaster is called the income roller coaster. Do you have it where your income goes up and then it goes down and then it goes up month to month to month? It is not fun. So that one is a scary one for sure.
Yeah, if you're getting on a roller coaster, you're getting on because you know you can get off at the end. When you know you're in roller coaster ride prison, that's not a ride you want to get on. It's certainly not a ride you want to stay on. And that's where it can become, the sleepless nights, the worry, the stress, the anxiety, the imposter syndrome, the feeling like you are castrated as a provider, the spouse freaking out, fights about money, living parallel lives like roommates, because your spouse is not in warm and fuzzy mode. They're in stress mode and insecurity mode. There's all kinds of avalanche of suck that comes with not having enough borrowers, not having a consistent flow of borrowers. Certainly stagnation, regression bring a whole bunch of gremlins into the house that no one wants, and gremlins that can definitely steal our peace, steal our joy. So we're here, guys, to drive a stake through the heart of that problem once and for all. We're here to give you some wicked effective strategies to stop borrowers from ghosting you, no pun intended, and to eradicate these joy, peace, prosperity vampires once and for all. As I said, drive a stake through their heart, straight through their heart. So with that in mind, let's dive in on this very scary Halloween episode where we give you the strategies you need to no longer live scared. Penny, what do you got for us today? Strategy 1.
Okay. Strategy 1 is definitely a favorite, and this is the reviews to referrals strategy. So Doran, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, so This is a little bit of an expanded Halloween version of a very simple strategy, which is simply asking for reviews post-closing. Everyone understands that. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. Now, certainly automating that process and following up with non-responders will supercharge it, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to monetize your awesomeness, right? You're getting that 5-star experience for your client where you're giving the dust on top of outstanding with excellence for excellence sake. Your client's loving it. We don't just get a 5-star review. Are you kidding me? That would be leaving a lot of money on the table, a lot of juice in the fruit, a lot of meat on the bone. So we're not going to stop there. We're going to start there. That's just step one. Step two is ask your rave reviewers for referrals, which we've taught before. And some of you still haven't done it. We often need reminding more than we need educating. So you're welcome. We're here for you to remind you of the thing that you know you need to do that you have not yet done. And we get paid on done, not begun. So again, you're welcome for the reminder. So you want to ask your rave reviewers for referrals. Just call them up. Thank them for the review. Let them know, hey, if I could press the repeat button on you, I'd do it all day long and Sundays. And then ask them for permission to do a little brainstorm session to see who in your world you can help beyond simply them, because birds of a feather flock together, right? So who do you know who might be thinking about buying, selling? Who do you know who's home rich but cash poor? Who do you know who's a revenue property investor, a real estate investor who needs access to more capital? Who do you know who's still making their landlord rich, even though they have a great job? What's up with that? That makes no sense. So you're going to go through those different categories and you're going to get referrals because you're asking and you're activating their mental Rolodex. So that's the second step in the 4-step strategy. But again, there's a whole lot more in store. So the third step in the 4-step strategy that hardly anyone really thinks about, let alone does consistently and habitually, is give 5-star reviews to buyer and seller agents. Think about it. If you give them a review because you genuinely feel they did a great job on the transaction you're already doing or you already did, and they help to facilitate a top quality first-class transaction, and they weren't a dud, they were a stud, let them know so. Let the world know so by posting a 5-star review. Now, when you do that, you're enacting the law of reciprocity to work in your favor. So now they're going to notice, hey, wow, that's awesome. We got a 5-star review from the lender, the mortgage broker, the LO who facilitated this transaction we just did at 123 Annie Street with the Joneses. How cool is that? So you're going to make them feel warm and fuzzy. It's going to elicit even more of a connection, even more of a, hey, this is a cool cat. Maybe there's an opportunity for some kind of synergy just by virtue of the fact that you did that uninitiated. No one asked you, you just did it. It's part of your reviews to referrals 4-step strategy, right? So when you do that, now you set things up to really monetize your awesome. Now, if you suck, all of this stuff, frankly, is not worth doing because all it's going to do is just increase the speed at which people find out you suck. So obviously the precursor and the prerequisite to making this work is to deliver a 5-star experience to the transaction, to the partners related to this transaction, excellent communication, both to your client and to the professionals on the buyer and seller side of the transaction. When you do this intentionally, so you're not just meeting expectations, but exceeding expectations, now you've primed the pump for step 4. And step 4 is inviting the buyer and seller agent to a VIP partnership discovery meeting where you explore whether or not you have the right fit, the right synergy to have them be one of your VIP partners whom you help generate more buyers and sellers for. So think about that. They just had a first-class, world-class 5-star experience of you as a professional facilitating the transaction, getting the most important ingredient in the transaction done with excellence, the financing. They got a 5-star review from you, bringing authentic, genuine praise for what they did to contribute to a great transaction and who they are as a consummate professional. And now you're inviting them to an opportunity to get more buyers and sellers, potentially, if you discern and decide that they're the right fit to work together inside of your VIP partnership program, like that's a whole lot of cheese and not a whole lot of whiskers, as we use the metaphor that realtors are kind of like mice. They love cheese. They hate whiskers. Why? Because they know whiskers are attached to something and wants to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's called a cat, right? They hate whiskers. They love cheese. So notice you're giving them all cheese, no whiskers with this approach. So that's the 4-step strategy for turning your 5-star world-class, first-class transactions that you are bringing excellence for excellence sake into repeat and referral business, not just from your clients, but also from new partners you can get from those transactions through those clients. And on top of that, you're getting reviews. So you're getting really the R3, right? You're getting rave reviews, you're getting referrals, and you're getting referral partners. And that's called massive nitro juice, rocket fuel in your rocket to ramp up your revenue. So there you have it. That's the first freakishly and frighteningly easy way to boost your borrower flow as we launch into the last quarter here of 2024. So you can hit the ground running and build massive momentum to make 2025 the year you thrive. What do you think, Penny? Do you think that is enough to make their time on this podcast worthwhile? Do you think they should just leave now, or do you think they should stick around because we got a whole lot more in store? You tell me.
Well, I think there's a little more juice to squeeze in here for sure. So,
oh yeah, bring the
strategy
juicer.
you just talked about is one of my favorites, Doran. I love this one.
Oh baby, bring it. My super in me is getting supersized just thinking about it. So tell me about it.
Well, just to finish off on strategy 1 here, because it is a personal favorite of mine. A lot of the time people that are in the mortgage industry are nervous about, oh, well, how do I build relationships with realtors? This strategy number 1 is one of the best ways to do it, right? You're literally reaching out to people that you're already doing business with. If you have a client in common with a realtor because you're funding the purchase for them, why not reach out to them? And this is the best strategy. So I absolutely love what you just covered here. It's fantastic.
Yeah, those of you who get bumps on your spine, you get those chills up your spine just thinking about taking a cold call from a realtor that's just going to, not give you the time of day, and they've got the prickly kind of like, don't mess with me, don't bother me kind of response that you typically don't really want to engage in as a voluntarily induced campaign. Like, this is not what I want to be doing with my time, getting my ass handed to me by realtors because I'm cold calling them, showing up as the annoying pest versus the welcome guest. And you think about it and you're like, that's the immediate feeling is like, no, thank you. Should be a breath of fresh air for you because these are all warm calls. You've already talked to your client. They love you. You've already talked to the buyer and seller agent. They're thankful for you. You helped to put more zeros and commas in their bank account. Like, everyone's a warm call here. There's no cold calls. So talk about taking the shortest path to the cash, right? Talk about taking the easy path. It's like Bruce Lee said, flow like water. And you're flowing in between all the rocks of doing it the hard way, so you can flow and take the easiest path to the outcome, which is more borrowers, more 5-star reviews, more referrals, and more revenue. So don't worry, y'all. We're not done. We've just begun. There's a whole lot more in store here. Let's talk about the next strategy, Penny, on the board for our Halloween edition of the Art of Mortgage Marketing podcast. There's more arsenal here. We're just getting started. What else you got in your quiver and in your arsenal? I totally messed that up. Up your quiver. Okay, that could be a very
it's in my
scary
broomstick
place
today.
to go, right? You could go there, but we probably won't go there even though it's Halloween. So Penny, rescue me from my ineptitude as I leave the microphone to you. You're a much better person to be on the mic right now.
Not to worry. So strategy 2, another favorite of ours for sure, is the Refi to Save campaign. This one's fantastic. Doran, please tell us about it.
Yeah, so this one obviously is much more relevant when rates drop. So depending on when your clients got secured with a mortgage, it'll depend on how many people in your database, of course, are in a position where you can really help them, especially when it comes to just doing a straight refinance to save money on their monthly payments. But there's lots of different reasons why people refinance, right? Sometimes it's, of course, to save money, like we talked about. Maybe it's to extend their amortization, lower their payments. Maybe it's to consolidate their high interest credit card debt into a lower, more manageable payment with lower carrying costs. Maybe it's equity takeout for buying a business or buying an asset or buying an investment property or taking out money to help their kid go through college without having a financial noose around their neck with student loan debt. There's lots of different reasons. Maybe it's a renovation, lots of different reasons. But when rates are relatively high, most of that tends to dry up because carrying costs become higher, right? So you need to be strategic. Make sure when you are doing these transactions, you're putting in the interest rate into your CRM so you can segregate out those who are at one level versus another level versus another level, and you can cherry pick. You can segregate the ones that are at a certain level such that you're able to target all of the people that you think have the highest probability of it making sense to do a refinance. And of course, you want to communicate them lots of different ways to do that: email, text message, telephone, direct mail, all of the above. So if you have a campaign like this going, don't stop with a one-trick pony with just sending out emails. That's a very anemic method. Use text messaging, use direct mail, use the telephone, use all methods available. And you'd be glad to know there's some really cool strategies for this, especially if you're in the US, that allow you to know what people's home value is. So if you want to dangle a little carrot in front of them to say, hey, here's how much your home is worth, here's how much your home equity is approximately, it might make sense for us to talk about taking advantage of that equity, whether it be for a home renovation, buying an investment, refinancing for whatever it is might be important to you, taking all that high interest debt and consolidating it for a lower carrying cost and payment. By having that data, if you're in the US, you guys are spoiled. In Canada, we don't have that information. We don't have those tools, but there's a great tool called HomeBot. I think there's other ones like Home IQ, but HomeBot is a great tool. It's a nominal monthly fee, and it allows you to know exactly what each of your clients' homes are worth based on the market conditions, as well as their home equity. It does all that math for you. It's a really slick system. And so you can kind of put that as a little carrot that you dangle in front of your client to tell them, hey, this is something we may want to explore to see if it makes sense to utilize this asset you have, this equity that you have. So that is the Refi to Save campaign. We're going to be seeing some refinance opportunities coming down the pipe. We don't know exactly when the avalanche is going to happen, where we have a real full-blown wave of refinances open up again like we did in 2020, 2021. Frankly, there was a refinance wave economic environment even prior to that, but it really turned on the faucet during 2020, 2021 for obvious reasons. Rates went rock bottom, historically low rates. This is going to happen again, maybe somewhere in the vicinity of maybe a notch or two above that. I don't see that happening anytime soon where it gets that low, but it'll still be lower than what has been, chances are, in the last 2.5 years. And the point is, you want to capitalize on that. Now, if you don't already have a database, consider a financial planner as a partner that you can utilize for that. Like if you have financial planners who have databases, and most of them do, you can help them monetize their database. And it's all about how can you help them monetize their database when it comes to helping their clients get access to more capital to invest in the market, to invest in the various different things that the financial planner has available as cash flow revenue generators for them: insurance, investments, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, money under management, they get paid on all that, right? On a reoccurring basis. So if you can help the financial planner unlock equity in their clients' homes to invest in these sorts of opportunities that will be an income generator for the financial planner. That's a perfect win-win, right? So if you don't have a database, and you're like, Doran, Penny, I don't have a database, I'm starting from scratch, or I went full-blown stupid last year and I moved companies and I didn't back up my CRM and I lost my entire database. I'm still kicking myself for it. I have to forgive myself. I'm moving on, but I got nada, zilch, nothing to work with. I'm starting from scratch. If that's you, consider financial planners as a way to tap into their database, and that's how you do it. So that is the refinance to save campaign. If you have a database, or if you have partners who have databases, that's one way that you can tap into it to be able to bring in more borrowers and to be able to do it in a way where everyone wins. Your client wins, you win, and if partners are related to that transaction, they win as well.
Beautiful. This has been one of the most profitable programs that I've done in my career over the years, is the refi to save as well. So definitely going after that low-hanging fruit is super, super important. And by doing all of the things you mentioned, by filtering the data and using the tools such as the emailing, the texting, and all of those things, that's really how you're going to reach out to these people and be able to, really fill that pipeline pretty quick, right? So when our pipelines are looking a little anemic, the first thing to do is look at your existing database. Who can you help? Who's in there that you can already give some help to? And so this program is great for that. It has done wonders in my business, and has been able to fill my pipeline really quick. If I need a little jolt, a little extra in there, it's been a great program. So love it.
For sure. And if nothing else, just ask your past clients for reviews. I can't tell you how many people think just because they didn't ask a client that the transaction was 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and it was in the distant past, that they feel like that's off the board as a viable campaign to ask for a review. It's never too late to ask for the reviews, guys. And so you can take people who would have forgotten about you, but you asked for the review. Now they're reignited, reconnected to the difference you made for them, the excellence you brought to them. And now it's like, okay, and by the way, I'm thinking about buying a revenue property, or actually my daughter is thinking about buying a house. They're just getting married. I would love to have you connect with my daughter to see if you can help her get pre-approved. Just because you're on their radar, right? Staying in touch in some meaningful way. So don't ever feel like you have to be in touch with them for months and years on end before you can ask for the review. Even if they're in the bowels of your database collecting cobwebs and dust, and they're in some, the basement of the haunted house, and you think they're just dead out of your neglect, have no fear. The Dead Lead Resurrection campaign is here. And that's the third strategy. We can ask for reviews, but we actually have a third strategy where we can take dead leads, speaking of dead, and we can resurrect them. Penny, I know you've had some really cool outcomes from that campaign, some amazing success from that campaign. Tell us about that third strategy, the Dead Lead Resurrection campaign. It's a perfect name, by the way, for Halloween. Just saying.
It is. It's spooky because we're talking about cold, dead leads. So it's definitely spooky. And the Dead Lead campaign has been another wonder in my business, and I'm sure in other people's business as well. And this campaign is great because essentially what you're doing is you're reaching out to leads that you have in your system that have been collecting dust and cobwebs for a really, really long time. And you're reaching out to them to see if you can help them again. And I'll share a quick little story with you, and I'll let you fill us in a little more, Doran. But I have a funny story about how the Dead Lead campaign went for me the very first time I did it. And I made the grave mistake of sending my message out to 700 people all in one go. And I think I did it on a late Friday afternoon.
And your husband's like, honey, that's not my idea of a great date night activity, watching you reply on text, right?
It was not a relaxing weekend, no. But you know what's amazing? We sent out that campaign. And my only advice is maybe don't send it to 700 people at once. Maybe go for, 20 or 30 people at a time, perhaps. But I sent it out to 700 people in one go. And I will tell you, my phones and my emails and my text was just absolutely lit up for the whole weekend. And we drummed up a ton of business from it. So as much as it ended up being probably one of the busiest weekends of my life, it was a wonderful, wonderful campaign. And it's amazing how you just reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a long time and you ask them some very simple questions. And from that, all of a sudden, it's just boom, your pipeline is filled again. So Doran, tell us a little bit more about the Dead Lead campaign. So I told you the story of how it played out for me because it was such a great campaign. Tell us a little bit more about exactly how that campaign works.
Well, the fact that you did this is a great reminder that you are, because you did the program, our coaching program, about it's about 7 years ago now. And one of the reasons why that program worked is because you were just like, we would say, hey, you jump, and you would say, how high? And this is a perfect example of that. You were so coachable and just so ready to receive and apply and implement. And sometimes you get yourself in a little hot water with going too overboard and you're jumping in the deep end. You forget you don't know how to swim, or you realize, wow, I don't really want to be swimming that hard on a Friday night, responding to all these texts.
Yes.
But the benefit of it is you learn a very valuable lesson. Number one, there's no such thing really as a dead lead, because timing is everything. It's like the saying, the difference between salad and garbage is timing, right? So sometimes you leave someone too long and all of a sudden they get poached by a competitor, or they have a friend or a family member, or their best friend's uncle's cousin is a mortgage professional and they poach the deal. There's any number of reasons why you may not get a favorable response from a lead. But oftentimes it's just timing. And that's why this Dead Lead Resurrection campaign, otherwise known as the Lazarus campaign, those of you who know the Bible, there's a Bible story where Jesus resurrects Lazarus, right? And so we resurrect these leads because we're sending the right message at the right time to the right people. And how do you do that? You use technology. So having a CRM that can send out text messages with the words that work to engage them. Like you said, there are questions very simple questions. A very simple question like, are you still looking to buy in X area? Something as simple as that. And they're either going to say yes or no, or get lost, or F off, or stop. But at least a question elicits a response. Now, if you're like, I don't want to be responding to all these people, Doran and Penny, that sounds like minutia. Thanks, but no thanks. Well, the cool thing is you can hire a virtual assistant to respond to those people just by creating a little Loom video. Use loom.com as a great tool. It's free up to a certain level, where you can create video screen sharing videos. And you can explain to your virtual assistant, here's how you reply back. Here's the FAQs. We actually provide FAQs for all this. That's one of the reasons why smart, ambitious, growth-minded mortgage pros hire us, is they don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. They just want to stick the key in the ignition and drive away, right? They want to have the superpower without having to do the super work of all the blood, sweat, and tears that comes with trying to reinvent the wheel, figuring all this stuff out. We've taken 2 decades to figure this stuff out. Chances are you don't want to take 2 decades. You want to condense decades into days. And so having an FAQ library, so that if they say this, you say that. If they say this, you say that. So you have a matrix of responses. You're going to want to have something like that. Now, we are now in the 21st century and almost peeling back the next year. 2025 is just a month and a day away, or rather 2 months and a day away. And I'm getting so super going into the future. So bear with me. Coming back to Halloween 2024 is when we are recording this live. And there's all kinds of opportunity here, guys, as we launch into the new year to use 21st century technology with AI. So AI allows you to have all the responding back and forth be done on autopilot. You don't have to go back and forth like Penny did. That's like old school from the dark ages now. Now you can have a chat GPT powered appointment setter, if you will, responding to these people, overcoming their objections while you're sipping a Mai Tai poolside in your pajamas in the Bahamas. I kid you not, this stuff can all be done on the fly on autopilot. It is such an incredible era we're living in now with AI. That being said, we are actually rolling out a brand new, innovative, cutting edge AI lead conversion system that can convert 1, 2, 3, even as many as 5 closings out of a list of 100 dead leads. I kid you not. All on autopilot using an AI bot, sending out text messages to these people and putting them in your calendar. Hot for what you got, motivated, so-called dead leads, and we're taking them out of your trash can and into your cash can. So this is designed to turn your dead leads into hot for what you got, motivated buyers and pre-approvals and ultimately deals in your pipeline. So if you'd like more information about how to automate this dead lead resurrection campaign so that you can just do what you do best and get the best to do all the rest and not have to mess with the minutia, shoot us an email at info@mortgagemarketingcoach.com. Again, that's info@mortgagemarketingcoach.com, and just put in the subject line AI demo. AI, of course, stands for artificial intelligence, AI demo, and we will send you a demo of this AI bot. Her name is Sophia. So you could also put in brackets Sophia if you want to get a live demo of what Sophia can do for you. Okay. If you don't have a database, don't worry about it. It's kind of a similar strategy to working with the financial planners. If you're wanting to do a refi to save campaign and you don't have a database yourself, no problemo. You can leverage the database of your realtor partners. Do you think a top producing realtor might have a few dead leads? You better believe it. They certainly do. So what better way to make yourself irreplaceable and indispensable than to trot out your new champion level cash creation horse with your AI bot lead conversion appointment setting system, or just simply doing it using your CRM, using text messaging with the dead lead resurrection campaign. I can't tell you how many clients have won new partners using our system, just using the old school dead lead resurrection campaign, especially if they get the realtor to join them when they launch it. They literally launch the campaign. All of a sudden, responses start coming in immediately. And the realtor's like, wowzer. They're like standing ovation. They're in total awe of the fact that you were able to resurrect these dead leads, and you're doing it live and you're showing the responses live. And the realtor's getting on the phone and calling these hot for what you got resurrected buyers live. You got to be knowing that's going to put some rocket fuel in your rocket when it comes to your realtor partnerships. I'm sure you'd agree. So Penny, that was the third strategy, the dead lead resurrection campaign. And those are the 3 frighteningly easy strategies for bringing in borrowers faster than you can say boo.
That's amazing.
Anything else you'd like to stack on that one?
Well, all I can say is if you do these 3 things, you're going to have a pipeline so full that honestly, you're just going to have the best holiday season because your pipeline is going to be absolutely jam-packed and full. And that's what we want. Even implementing one of these strategies today alone, if you took the action and put down some action today and implemented just one of these today alone, you'll probably have at least 1 or 2 more deals in your pipeline by tomorrow morning. Implement one more strategy, you'll probably have a few more. And then implement the last strategy, and your pipeline will be absolutely full and filled. And come the holiday season, because as you said, it's only 2 months and a day away. Come the holiday season, you'll have nice full pockets to have a great holiday season.
Yeah, you don't want to have another broke Christmas, right? That is not a fun way to spend Christmas. So now's the time. You got a month to prepare yourself to fill that pipeline so you can be saying to yourself, I'm glad I did, not I wish I had, right? As the late and great Jim Rohn said, you're going to get good at 1 or 2 things. You're either going to get good at planting in the spring, which is what we're talking about. In this case, we're not in the spring, but you get the idea. Sowing season always precedes harvest season. So you're either going to get good at planting in the spring or begging in the fall. Either way, you're going to feel some degree of pain, friends, the seed planting pain or the regret pain in lack, limitation, and scarcity. Either way, you're going to feel some degree of pain. The great thing about the pain of discipline is it weighs an ounce, whereas the pain of regret weighs a ton. So we recommend the former versus the latter because we're here to serve you guys to your blessed life, your best life. And Frankly, anything less than that is settling for second best and settling for way less than what you're capable of. So strike while the iron is hot, guys. Circle off, write down, underline, tattoo on your forehead if you have to. The one strategy that you're going to start with today, is it going to be the Deadly Resurrection campaign? Is it going to be the Refi to Save campaign? Is it going to be the Reviews to Referrals campaign? Are you going to implement the AI bot? Maybe you're going to reach out to us about that and learn more about how you can leverage that kind of powerful AI technology. What are you going to do to make 2025 the year you thrive? Now's the time to prepare. Now's the time to plant those seeds and water them, nurture them, fertilize them. Now, if you are listening to this and maybe you're a little overwhelmed, you're like, I want to take my business to the next level. I don't want to have another stagnant, regression filled year like it did in 2024. I don't want to be broke as a joke ever again. I don't want to be in lack, limitation, scarcity ever again. I don't want to have any more sleepless nights worrying where that next deal is going to come from. I'm done with living in this roller coaster ride prison, and I'm ready to make next year the year I catapult to that next level and never look back. I want to win in any market, not just a fair weather market. But frankly, I realize that I get paid on done, not begun. And a lot of this stuff just overwhelms me. I don't know where to start. What do I say? How do I do it? What's the CRM? What's the technology? How do I automate it? I get sweaty palms just thinking about it. This techie stuff's not my forte. I'm a people person. I'm not a techie propeller head. Doran, Penny, rescue me. How can I implement this stuff and just get straight to what works without messing around doing it the hard way, becoming my own bottleneck and getting in my own way? If that's you and you can relate to that, I invite you to book a complimentary breakthrough call with either myself or one of my consultants, where we just lift up the hood on your business, and it's a clarity conversation. We just have an honest conversation about where you're at now in your business. Like, where are you now? Where do you want to be in your business? What would it look like when you're making freedom money? And what would get you doing the freedom dance, the happy dance, popping the champagne, knowing you're living your blessed life, your best life? What would that look like? And what is it going to take to go from where you are to where you want to be? What's the shortest path to the cash? How can we simplify that approach with elegant simplicity, so you're not having to take this long, convoluted route, the long, slow grind up the mountain, so to speak, to get your goal? We can go straight to what works, condense decades into days. And if we discern and decide that we're 100% certain we can help you, we'll show you what that looks like inside of our proven system on Planet Prosper at mortgagemarketingcoach.com. If not, frankly, we'll be the first to advise you to pass. Maybe we'll recommend something else or something else that's better for you. Either way, we're here to serve you guys to next level clarity and next level impact. And it all starts with a clarity call, a breakthrough call. So if you'd like to partake in that opportunity, this is a perfect time to do so before you set your targets and create your marketing plan for 2025. Let's make sure you're laying a solid foundation and you're not basing it on quicksand presuppositions that are faulty, that cause you sinking back into old habits and regressing back into the vortex of things that don't work. Let's make sure you're building your foundation on solid rock. And that's what this call is all about, to build your foundation on solid rock so you can win in any market, not just a fair weather market, and do that in a way that's even fun, because making money and serving clients and making a difference and rising to the top in your field, that's a lot more fun than lack, limitation, scarcity, and I can't afford it prison. I'm sure you'd agree. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, again, book a call at mortgagemarketingcoach.com/chat. mortgagemarketingcoach.com/chat. Now, if you value what we're doing here on this podcast, you dig the ideas, the insights, subscribe to our podcast wherever you might get it, whether it be the iTunes portal or any other of the podcast portals that are out there. Subscribe so you don't miss any of those future episodes. Also, thank you in advance for sharing this episode with your colleagues, your peers. They may need some inspiration, motivation, education as well to help them grow their business. So caring is sharing. Share the love. And if you feel like we're deserving of a 5-star review because we do crazy things like putting on redunculous looking outfits for Halloween, then by all means, give us a 5-star review. Please do. That helps us reach more awesome mortgage pros just like you. you got to be knowing that Penny is deserving of a 5-star review. Look at that hat. I mean, that hat is a special kind of awesome, for real though. That is a special kind of awesome. It's a lot better than Mr. Clean with a twist of Superman, you know, the skinny version of Mr. Clean, to say the least. So that being said, the more we grow as individuals, as professionals, as leaders, as marketers, because hey, this business, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, is a compensation. It's a personal development course with a compensation plan attached. So the more we grow, the more our income grows, the more our impact grows. So don't just go to that next level, friends. Let's grow to that next level. Thanks for hanging with us. Thank you, Penny. You're always so awesome. I so get inspiration from you. If you weren't here, I wouldn't have done this crazy costume. Just saying, like, you bring out the fun in this place. You're always
bringing out the fun today.
So we appreciate the zest and the sparkle that Penny rightly brings to the table, and so grateful to be able to launch into the new year serving mortgage pros to their next life, their best life, their blessed life. And to be able to do that with someone who doesn't just bring Yoda smart strategy, but brings some fun and some pizzazz and some energy. So thank you, Penny. This has been a fun call.
This has been a fun call.
I love it. So thanks, guys, for hanging with us. Be blessed. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.